So, hello, cinephiles, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Talk Film to Me podcast, where we talk about films in Kenya and beyond. I'm your host, Nkatha. Let's talk film. Very random. What is the last Kenyan movie you watched apart from Thief?
The last Kenyan film I watched was, I believe, Act of Love.
Act of Love. It's on
Yeah.
Mymoviesafrica
Yeah,
if you haven't
true.
watched it. Andrew edited Mission to the Rescue. How many have watched it? Hey, hallelujah. Guys, watch Kenyan. Yo, watch Kenyan. Mission to the Rescue was produced by Foxton, who are the same ones who produced Mpakani. Who's watched Mpakani? Oh, so Saim no Amkon. So he edited the film. Kiwo, I know Gregory, we know the name Gregory Kiwo. And Kiskia Kiwo Nonanga, Mwangaza, Light. We know him for Light. He's done over 30 projects, I think. He's won several awards, I think five or five and above. He's won a Kalasha award. How many know Nikita Kering? Oh, okay. Now we're on the Kenyan part together. Satko sawa. I think he's lead a song for her. Yeah? All has. Ebu mpigeni makofi. Umseni mnoma. Okay, yeah. He's produced, there was a film they did called The Collector. Mbona mlichagua horror? Nilianza kuwatch niko like, mbona naochi film usiku na niko peke yangu kwa nyumba? Nikaitwa ambao nikisema ndawatch mchana, katikati ya siku ni watch cartoon, alafu by usiku ndakwa sawa. Lucarelli, how many have watched Volume? Oh, memona. Mnajua celeb? Oh, sawa. So we understand now who these guys are. We understand who these guys are, yeah? Okay, so these are amazing creators. Now let's go to the hard questions. This just goes straight to the producer. Mwenye aliproducer, shikilia microphone. Tunataka kujua ulitoa pesa wapi? Hii filamu inakaa safi bana. Mimi nataka kutengeneza filamu. Money. Every time a filmmaker is making a film, you ask yourself, okay, this film has a budget of like 7 million, 5 million. Where do I get the money from? Na kujani ongea na my friend Enoch pale. I talked to maybe Mweni, mentioning people I know in the audience. Peter, kwambia mdosi yake, so nipata ka 12 million. Film ni ya 7 but tunaweza ongezea 12 to tufanye hadi marketing na distribution. How did you go about that whole process? Because I know it can be a bit tough.
The process of funding the film Thief and our other projects is self-funding. So self-funding meaning it's money out of our pockets.
So cool.
Because, we love film, we're passionate about film. And the thing is, whenever you're a creative, one thing you always like, the biggest battle is always about budget.
Yeah.
Because even when we have banters and talks, even when we're talking with Andrew mostly, when we have our banters, it's about more of where do we get money to do projects? Or how do we fund our projects? So when you are constantly in that cycle of, when, where, why, how, it becomes like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You never get to the doing part.
So
I and Andrew and other people came on board to do this film.
Yeah.
It was more of, we have to do it.
Yeah.
So we had a plan. We said we'll put whatever money into the film, a certain budget. We paid people. So
watu walilipwa?
Watu walilipwa.
Ulilipwa Luka? Ulilipwa poa? Hata wako na pesa bwana. Hata wako na pesa.
So it was more of, they say spend money to make money.
Yeah.
So our projects are more of a stepping stone to the journey that we are making.
Yeah.
Currently, like locally, we are not in a place whereby we churn out more films every day. For me and I and Andrew, we are very film-oriented people. There are more of series, you'll do docus, you'll do any other work,
Yes.
but less movies. So we're trying also to curate and also have a pace. Like, Nigeria, like, where they are in terms of creating film, South Africa, like our counterparts are churning movies every month.
Yes.
So we were like, why not us?
Yeah.
For us, it's more of the waiting, like, and nikipata hiyo budget, do your movie.
Mm.
So once you decide to stop and step out and say, I'll start with whatever I have. Now you create a dialogue whereby you're able to create without thinking of the hurdles you have. You remove all the hurdles and everything you say we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the doing, everything becomes easier. You've started a dialogue, you've started a community. With this, our films, we hope to have a community. The way you have like Comic-Con, or, you have those festivals where people go dress. What do you call it? I'm forgetting the name. Cosplay. Yeah, you'd have that now, your fans coming out. You see things like, Lord of the Rings. There are people who just do short films.
Yeah.
If you go online, they
Yeah.
have a family,
Yeah.
You see things like Star Wars, Transformers, or,
Yeah.
the big, even the small movies, they've created a community.
Yeah.
The other thing, me and Andrew, we do a lot of research. We watch, we consume a lot of content. So from that also, we've learned from guys who are in universities, students who come to, like German students, guys from Sweden, Canada, they come to do films here.
Yeah.
Like if you watch a couple of the films which are shot in Kenya and they win awards outside,
Yeah.
if you look at who, like you see German embassy, Canadian embassy,
Yes.
it's because now they're coming to do stories here.
Yeah.
And they've realized, like, stories za huko hazishiki, za huko ndo zinabamba.
Za huku ndo zinabamba. Stories zetu na huko hapoa. Yeah.
So for I and Andrew, we are in that, we can say, a journey whereby we want to create and just create, just do it. Like, go out, put our films out there.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to join and, join our journey, give us some money along the way.
Okay.
We don't mind. But now, this is the journey. Yeah.
You've mentioned Lord of the Rings, Inception, and so I have to ask, who's your favorite director? I have to ask. Jumeme, inakaa nika una hint on Christopher Nolan. Is it him?
No.
Or somebody else? Yeah.
I have none. There are lots.
Wow. Okay.
Because the other thing with the films I do watch and consume, I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
I love action, and I love such genres that leave you, on a cliffhanger. Andrew loves horror. He loves sci-fi.
So we can
and-
tell who the collector's
drama.
idea was.
Yeah. So I consume that. I watch a lot of Korean films also.
Mm-hmm.
I love them because they are very, creative. They stimulate you in a very good way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you wouldn't say there were any budget constraints when you were shooting the film? Do you want to say
Andrew.
something?
Coming up with a budget is never easy.
I
But
know.
yeah, as Gregory said, having a collective of people beside you really comes in handy.
Yes.
And when we started shooting Thief, we had to break for a month after the first day of production.
After the first day.
Yeah, we had to break for a month. So we started in November, I believe 23rd or something.
Yeah.
And then we just had challenges that we couldn't,
Overcome at that point. Yeah.
overcome at that point.
Yeah.
So we had to incur a lot of losses and, vendors which we had brought in for the shoot in terms of catering, transport, and everything. So we lost quite an amount of money that day.
Damn.
For a month. So we also had to build a set.
Yeah.
So the safe that you see in the movie was built from ground up, like
Damn.
boards, the whole
Hey.
room.
Including every artifact. Hata
including-
hiyo diamond change nilikuwa niitishe kama naweza pewa. Kakip kakupeleka home. Hakuna?
So it was really difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
me and Kiwo were like depressed for like a month,
Oh, guys,
trying to
I'm
figure
so
out
sorry.
whether we're gonna finish this film.
Mm.
But the whole team, the crew, the actors were uh, really held our backs. They were like, "Yo, it's okay. You
Yeah.
guys, when you're ready, just tell us.
Mm.
We'll come for the shoot." So at least we were able to, you know, yeah, continue with the shoot.
Manage.
Yeah.
Manage.
Yeah, we
Tuko hapa,
managed.
so
Yeah.
you did well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in terms of the budgets, it's really hard. The good thing is that when we come up with these ideas, we kind of prepare 7 months in advance.
Damn.
It's like we are going to do
See,
something.
says
in
Mkaleo
July.
shoot movie
Ah,
alafu nikuje kwa
obviously.
Mike, I can't shoot a movie and can't tell
You
you I'd
can.
like to screen this.
Yeah, you can. But
I
it's,
can,
yeah, you
but
can. But
Proper
yeah.
planning is
Yeah.
crucial.
So pre-production is really important.
Mm.
Like for this one, I think we wrote it for like 6 months ish.
Yeah, 6 months, then 3 months, like a whole month of Reiki, just looking at locations,
Yeah.
going to different houses, being like, no, this can't work, this can't work, this
Yeah.
work. So we canceled out a couple of houses. That time we were doing a Reiki, Reiki is going to see where you can shoot your film. So we did that with art and stuff like that for a whole month.
Yeah.
Just seeing places with the guy who helped us is called Papa. He used to get us like different houses. We'd be like, no, we'd look, we're like, hey, where can we get the vault here? So some houses, especially the ones in like Karen. Marunda,
Yes.
they're really big. They
Yes.
had really nice interior, exterior.
Yes.
And because we want to sell that, money and everything.
The affluent vibe. Yes.
So that was there. But now the safe, the vault,
Mm.
or the story before when Andrew wrote it was a small
I was
safe.
to get to that point. Did the script change at any point? Because I know that you can write a story, mnasoma first draft. Hata inaweza fika hadi kwa cast.
Yeah.
Luca, you read the script kwa like, haya tufanye cinema. Unaambiwa, hello Luca, there's been a change. Can you just check your email? So did the script change at any point?
Yeah, so the first draft, I wrote it in a way that like the budget was really, really small.
Yeah.
So it was a safe instead of a vault. And then Greg is like, no.
It's not working.
We need to like increase the scope. I'm like, yo, bro, are you sure? Because Atuna do. He's like, no, I want a vault and stuff. So I was like, okay. I put in a vault and everything. So the thing just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, yo, we need to stop. Otherwise, we're going to write a feature script. So, yeah. And something which he says about short films, and the beauty about short films is that you're in with the story and you're out. You don't have to like do so much. It's all about just picking somebody's interest.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
and you're done.
Yeah, that's
because I agree with that, because currently, before the attention span of every human, especially Gen Zs in the house, Gen Zs, attention span yenyu, it's very small. That's why TikTok has cracked that algorithm of like 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So even for a film, if a film is going to be 2 hours long, you're going to lose a lot of viewers on the way when people are watching the film. So I guess I still think this is a really good idea, because we were able to sit down and watch the film and get to the end, and we're still asking for more. So whatever you were trying to do, I don't know what it was, Elisha managed kuifanya.
Whet your appetite.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luca, a question for you. Was there any form of preparation you did in terms of getting ready for this role? Any? Uliingia tu ukachapa mambo yako in and out?
No, not really. I mean, the only preparation I do is read the script as much as I can. As much as you can, actually.
Yeah.
And after that, you just have to get your director, listen to them, look at the cinematographer and what they want, and you just get in there and do your thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about the story, though?
The story is good.
The story is good.
No, I enjoyed the story because the story was about some someone who's an ex-thief and is desperate, so he has to go back to his old ways.
Yeah.
So of course I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the cast that I was with. Yeah, Julie Branda, Helen Kelly, Misati, the boy Mason. They did a great job.
Yeah,
they made it
they
easier
did.
for me to actually do what I had to do. It's just difficult for an actor or for me to be like, yay, I did a good job. Because you're
You
always
should be able to say that.
No, you're always criticizing how did you do this? How did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you get the subtext right? Was that emotion better than this emotion? You could have done better here. You could have had more depth here. So that's what I think about when I'm doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Something is when we're on set with Luca, even the other actors.
Yes.
I love like he's like a method actor.
Yeah.
For him, we would tell him things and then he would like walk away. So from day one, we had a system in place. If you asked him, we'd tell him, okay, in this part, walk from point A and B. That's me and him just having a banter.
Yeah.
Like me and Andrew would be like, yeah, this he'll come in Nini. And then Luca would look at us, he'd be like, and then he would walk away. So yeah, he would just walk away.
Yeah.
And then he would turn. He would do like a 360. And then he would come. By then, everyone is silent. Like our sets, guys were disciplined. So it would be like silence. And then he'd be like, he would do like, we'd tell him, give us a thumbs up when you're ready. So he'd be like, and then, yeah, like for real. Like,
and he just starts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
okay.
We love that about him and
Yeah.
the other actors. Because you always have to give actors room. For the most sets we've been in, like the years I've worked in the film industry,
Yeah.
people kind of hurry the actors.
Yeah.
It's never about the beats of the story or anything. Someone just, let's say, shoot, cut. When you're cutting, that's when you see like the beauty about, someone who's settling into the role, So for me, from watching, a lot of observation, because after us, we put up the lights.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a front seat just to observe and pick out what you like from, the directors you watch, especially our local directors.
Yes.
I'd watch and I'd be like, I would have taken a bit more time before
time
I say
with this
cut.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you find the actors have, they're in and out of a role very quickly.
Yeah.
That's why you find also, like from the research I've done, like actors from other countries, after they're done with the film, they go for counseling, they go for holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a toll on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole derolling process.
Yes. They
Yeah.
have to come out of character. I don't know if it's like that for Luke.
I was to ask that
yeah,
now. Is there any role ushaifanya in Africa point go to like
No,
man?
guys. I don't know if you have actors in the room, but if shout out to you guys. But if it's very difficult, then I do suggest you go look for therapists. Because for me, I'm only the character at the moment that I'm shooting. Yeah. Like yes, there's rehearsals and there's all that, but I'm only the character when I'm on set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe when I'm eating and sometimes I can still be in character, but I'm only in character when we are working. The duration that we have, we're producing the thing.
The film, yeah.
That's when I'm in character. Once I'm done, I go back home into my own peaceful state and I turn back to Lucarelli. Actually, most of you don't know me. I turn back to Chico.
Chico.
Probably only one person here knows who Chico is. But I turn to Chico, and Chico is very reclusive, very recluse person, does not want to talk to very many people. A Swahili person, I go back home. So yeah. Mine is very easy. De-rolling is the easiest thing for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think some actors would need master classes from you on
Think
the
about
set.
it like you're a child, yeah? If you look at a child, a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, it's so easy for them to change. Like if they want to act like their dad or their mom or something, it's easy for them to get in and out of it.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
It's hard if you're an adult because you have very many things going on in your head. But all you have to do is really just give yourself that space to get in, enjoy, be happy, do what the character needs to do. And once you know yourself, just get back to yourself. And
all right.
Maybe I haven't gotten the character that's gonna like
We'll see. We'll find out.
rob my mind and character.
We'll see. We'll see. Kiwo,
Yes.
How did you transition from doing lights to now being a producer and now deciding
Wow.
nimekuangazia sana. I've lit your films up so much. I want to do my
Yeah.
own. How did you
Yeah.
get to that point?
For me, just a short backstory. When I started about 10 years back in the film industry,
Yeah.
I had really good mentors who held my hand and opened the door for me. Like guys like Alfred Mgendi, Walter Diambo, Wafula, and Francis. So those are some of the guys who mentored me in the lighting department. But when I joined the industry, I was doing everything.
Yeah.
So today I was slating for a month. The next thing I'm doing art for a month. I was a sound person. Guys who know me like from way back know like I was a
Damn.
really good boom swinger. So I
Yeah.
used to swing the boom.
Is it because of the height?
The height? Yeah. Everyone's like Ayatollah. And then I got into doing lighting. So I met this guy. His name is Chris Royo. Back then he was working with Ruben Odanga, who was doing Selena.
Yeah.
We're in Mombasa. We're doing something called Saida or something. It was a telenovela.
Yeah.
So we came back and we're doing a show for KTN. It was called Briefcase Inc. It had a Jora, George, and stuff.
Yeah.
So that set me, I was that just, today I'm doing lighting, tomorrow. So one day, Chris Royo, who's one of my mentors, he called me and sat me down. Him and Richard Ngugi. He's one of the best sound people in the country.
Yeah.
So for them, they were like, father mentors. And they were like, what do you like to do? I was like, me, I like doing art. I like doing continuity. They're like, no.
You
What
said
is
everything.
one thing? What's one thing you'd really want to be? So before then, I used to shoot things. I would go to the slum. I would shoot a few stories with guys from, Hot Sun and stuff like that, just starting out.
Yeah.
So I told them I want to become a DOP. Back then, I didn't understand what a DOP was. Because me, I just loved the title, DOP, Director of Photography. I didn't know the weight that comes with that.
Yeah.
So they were like, Chris was like, Royo was like, that's really good. In order to understand your camera, and you have to understand lighting.
Yeah.
What the picture is, you have to understand lighting. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? He said, go focus on lighting and you'll be the best cinematographer, DOP. So I took that and I was like, now I asked myself, I said, for 2 years, I'll do lighting. And then I'll quit and then go back to first the scene.
Hey, hold on a plan.
Yeah.
You had written your plan. This is how I'm going to do it.
2 years, and then I DOP. So that was my set plan.
Yeah.
I got into it. And then by the time we were done with that and having worked with Walter and other guys who linked me up with work, the directors of photography, now the directors of photography wenyewe, they didn't call me for any other job except lighting. They'd be like, Kiwo lights. So guys would be like, unataka lighting? Kiwo. So from then on, now I knew, like, I talked to my mom. I was like, I'm trying to get back to, because I had bought equipment, opened my company, registered it. That's in 2011. And I knew, like, I'm going to be doing films, but I wasn't getting work. It was really hard. So my mom was like, labda lighting ni nyota yako, so stick to that.
Yeah.
So that's the short story. So from there, I knew, like, I would get back to DOPing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people don't understand is, like, just the Bible says, if you read the Bible, without light, you cannot see. When God created the world,
send him no, man.
He said, let there be light.
Deep.
So let there be light. So that light was the first thing which was created.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a film, if you want a period piece, light. If you want a comedy, light. Telenovela, light. Action,
podcast.
So it's not about
light.
The camera. Podcast, light. So lighting is everything. As long as you master what your lighting does. Because for us, I say we paint with lights. I do enjoy that very much. Because if you give me a plain canvas, you have to tell me a Kiwo stop, when to stop. Because, I have just ideas. And over the years, having watched people being on sets, you never stop learning.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been those stories that bubble in my head. When I get home, I always have a notebook. So I would sleep and then wake up at 2, 3.
Hey, my Lord.
I would take a pen, I would write. Man walking on the street, blah, 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 bad handwriting. Half asleep. And then go back to sleep. And then the next morning, I'm like, what was this? That's an idea. So I
Unapata
had,
visions, unaandika.
yeah, so I had lots of those ideas.
Uh.
And over the years, they've evolved.
Mm.
Because also I record myself like on the phone. It's a bad habit. After I set up, I would be watching. And then just an idea comes. I would leave, go to the washroom. I'm like, so the story begins. Yeah, that's how I got to this place.
Oh, nice.
Just a
That's
snippet.
quite a story.
Yes.
That's quite a story. Wengine ataanza kuambia, I felt I had a calling. Why are you complete? Tuambie tu ukweli. Just tell us the truth. It doesn't need to be appealing. Just tell us this is how. So unaona yeye anatuambia like he didn't get a job here, so he decided to do lighting, and then eventually he decided, okay, I'll go back to it, which is good, and we appreciate you, and we can see the good work, and you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Andrew, how did this couple, and by couple, don't misquote me, where social media can be bad nowadays, don't misquote me. How did you two start working together?
A very interesting question because the person who brought us together is seated right there. Mr. Peter Kawa, please.
Kawa inua mkono. Mbona unajificha?
Pokea nini? Yeah, Mr. Peter Kawa.
Nani ajui Peter Kawa? Oh, haumjui? Peter. Tabdu umekuja uongee for a minute, sawa? Amjui Peter. Nani amewatch County 49 on Showmax? Hey, if you
There we
haven't
go.
watched it, if you
Mr.
haven't
Mr.
watched it,
Malik,
go and watch.
yeah.
You'll see Peter Kawa there.
All right, yeah.
Surely watch Kenyan films.
So,
Uh-huh.
so this is the thing. I mean, we were following each other on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
My
I mean,
lord.
As in, yeah. Like, I look at his work and I'm like, hey, msa anafanya job poa. I guess we alikuwa naangalia yangu. I'm not sure yet.
Kamna nokia kazi ya each other.
Yeah, but
Okay.
now Peter Kawa was doing his first feature film called Lost in Time. And he wanted me to DOP the film. And I was like, okay, cool. So nani ata gaff Greg. I was like, oh, Greg, nice. Nimetaka kumit himself for like forever. So, yeah, we met on the set of Lost in Time. I appreciated his work ethic, his discipline, how he was doing his stuff. And we was just banter, of course, on Kiwa set and stuff. You were like, we should probably do something together. That was Peter Kawa Lost in Time, ilikuwa 20? Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, 2020.
Ulikuwa umemaliza shule? Okay.
Yeah. So that was in 2018. So after that, we kept in touch, and every film set that I was being called to DOP, napigia Greg, namwambia, yo Greg, I need you to do the lighting. He's like, yo, pesa ni iko aje? I'm like, si poa, but I need you. Mi siwezi fanya hii job bila wewe. So that was the kind of relationship which started. Did another film for Peter Kawa again. Yeah.
Peter Kawa tupe kazi.
Awesome person. Peter Kawa nakupigianga simu, you just can't say no. Because this guy, he's an amazing person. Always has the best of actors, especially. Lucarelli can attest to that. He can talk about Peter Kawa. So
he's your manager?
Peter.
Hey. Hey. I can't go through the corners. So I have to go to. Hey. Okay, sawa.
So that's how the relationship started. Like, I can't do anything without him. Without him being part of the project.
Yeah.
And he's so busy. Like, you can read the amount of work that he's done.
Yeah.
So he's always on sets. Finding him is really, really hard. So but the good thing is that he happened to move. Like, one day I was just going down the stairs at my apartment.
Gotcha.
And I see this guy. I'm like, yo, Greg,
this guy is your neighbor.
Hey,
guys.
So this is the thing. I meet him and he's like, yo, minutes after how like up, I'm like, shit, unachukua ile pale, because this is the only way that we can actually get to sit down and talk and plan something,
Yeah.
right? So that happened. He moved in, and yeah, so it's me going to his place, him coming at my place,
Yeah.
sitting down, exchanging ideas. So, which is why we take like about 6-7 months to do a project,
Yeah.
because he's always booked. So we're like
Such a busy
November,
man.
yeah. So we are like November, we are shooting this. So
Okay.
clear your calendar and everything. So we just plan, do pre-production and everything. So that's how we got to sit
Work
down
together.
and agree that we need to do something for the industry.
Yeah.
We need to challenge ourselves. Him technically, him wanting to be a DOP,
Yeah.
and me focusing on post-production mostly.
That's what you love doing,
Yeah,
post-production.
I shouldn't be like writing. I used to write Kitambo, but this is just me polishing up what I used to do back in the day. But me, I want to do post-production, especially sound design.
Yeah.
And he wants to do to be a cinematographer, like a proper cinematographer. So yeah, we are assisting each other to get to where each one of us wants to be.
If I have a writer mwenye anataka kusaidiwa kurite, unaweza msaidia?
Tutamsaidia.
Uko na writer mahali.
Yeah, we shall talk after.
We shall talk.
Yeah, we shall.
All right. So now I want to open this up to now you guys. Sisi wote saa tuulize maswali. I mean, I still have a few questions, but now I'd like even for you guys to ask questions. Ndio zangu zenye zimepotea zirudi. Sawa sawa? All right. All right, so if you have a question, you can put your hand up. Okay, Peter.
Okay. So remember, you're on TV, yeah? So you need to stand up. Yeah. You're on
you can
Talk
say
Film
hi.
to Me podcast, live and direct. You need to stand up, introduce who you are.
Oh, yes.
And ask your question.
Good evening, guys. My name is Peter Kawa. I stand here proudly with a couple of feathers on my heart. And just like this gentleman have already said, these guys have made me the person that I am today. I have used them in literally all my projects.
Abused us.
Abused you guys in all my projects. Greg, I'm looking at you. We started together in Sana Talks. You lead for me Sana Talks. You lead for me Lost in Time. You lead for me Christmas Love. And then Andrew, when I met you, you shot for me and edited actually Lost in Time, Christmas Love, and Sana Academy. So thank you so much. And I'm here to say I am here to support as much as I can because you guys are lovely people. You are lovely souls. And mkijitolea nyujitolea. It's because that is why we are seated here. This film was done from a point of just love for cinema and just love for the local industry. I have a couple of questions. Number one, if you ask me, I think you guys, your script was kind of unfair to Lucarelli's character. I felt like he had already admitted that he's willing to do anything for his son. Why did it have to go to a point where he has to be dragged and even his life taken away? I think he had already decided that I'm willing to do anything. I wish it would have been his choice, to go to the under the knife and give whatever it is that he gave to his son. Number two, he was given motivation in the car. A whole bag of, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was sand, but from what I saw, it was a hoard of money, right? Right? And ilikuwa imeonekana mpaka juu ya bag. So that means this guy had enough. Yeah. A lot of money to sort out his son. 2 days before, he went for the mission. Why did he still go? He could have run away. Or maybe his family could have been in danger. Yeah. But still, I wish the story would have gone to him taking care of the son before going for the mission. That was my feeling. Then lastly, the color green features prominently in The Bad Guys. What's his name? The guy who was a doctor. I don't remember. Yes? Yes? He was in a green suit on the mission night. And then even Kelly's character was in green. And even the whole, what do you call it, the SIF. there was tinges of green, a bit of red but green. Was there purpose in that color design? Thank you.
I don't know. We start with who? Cards? Or we, no, I will forget, no?
Let's answer the questions and then we can pick up another one. Yes. We'll start with question number one.
Yeah. About it being unfair. Okay. Oh, about the story being unfair on Lucarelli's character. Yeah. Greg is a very dark person, eh? So no, dark like in So we kind of wrote the story from a point where nothing is really fair in our society. We have the rich who encroach on the two little people. So we really didn't want a happy ending for Lucarelli, because that's how most of the people experience life as it is. So we didn't want like a telenovela ending to like, oh, happy I'm a seven total and everything. No. As in, there are repercussions to what the character did. And to answer your motivation, like, why didn't he just go home with a bag and like, it's okay. Something that but Luca, you can touch more on it, is that this guy is a retired safe cracker and he's just been released from prison. So we kind of thought that it might be an interesting approach for his character to actually get some money, but have that camise of the high of doing the safe crack, which is why when he gets to the vault and he does it, he's like, yeah, like I still have it. So Greg can talk in terms of the color and the photography.
So before we doing the film, we had, as I said, we had a trajectory, a direction which we had. So after the script was done, now it was more of the color palette. So in film, sometimes you'd have most of our films, which we do here, guys never go to the color palette. If you have your reds, your greens, there's a lot of color. If you ask Luca, they would dress him. They would dress him. He would come on set and we'd be like, no, too bright, too busy, too nini. So he had a color palette which we had shown the wardrobe person a costume. So we were intentional with the colors. So the reds, the gold, and the greens. So even money is green. So the film, the best of the story is about money, wealth, affluence, and stuff like that. You can say even green with envy. So yeah. And then just for the theme thief, he's the thief. But in our film, he's not the thief. The thief is Donna, yeah. Because now she feels like she's been robbed of time. She has all the money and everything. But the one thing which is elusive is time. So that's what she takes away from him. So she's the actual like thief. So it was also more of a mirror. Like, as I said, you don't give the viewer everything, all the answers, everything. It's just interesting when you watch it and you're like, oh man, this guy was, yeah.
Just to add on to what Kiwo is saying, is when we were coming up with the idea and writing the story, we really wanted to put the audience in Lucarelli's character's shoes. Like what he experiences throughout the story is what the audience will also feel. Because you have ways of telling a story, whether the audience who are watching know the way the story starts. We believe that Lucarelli is a thief, but once we go along and go to the ending, we realize that he's not a thief. So he also realizes that, the audience also realizes that. Yeah. So Luca, you can.
Yeah, just wanted to add on why Oliver did not just run away with the bag of money. Yeah, it's not about being smart. It's the desire, human desire. Sometimes it's like when you go to when I was younger, I used to go to shows. I don't know if you call them Nairobi shows or something. Then there's the guy who has the cards on the box thing, and then when you go there, you win probably once or twice, but you always think you can do better on the third one or on the fourth one, right? You always feel you can always beat the guy. You've made your money, probably double or thrice. Like Luna feel too, I can make more. And it's that desire that also as Oliver the thief is always like, okay, I got this, yes, but I've been here before. I know this life before. We can always get more. So there is of course the immediate problem, which is your son. But you can always there's that desire that you can always make more. And it's with that that also just pushes him to do this some more because like I've done this before, I can do this again. We can make way more money. And finally he doesn't. Just like Ukenda Komto Karata. Finally you just lose everything. So yeah, that's what it was.
But before Peter says something, first and foremost, Peter, thank you so much what you do for the industry with Sana Post, one of our partners today. If you guys haven't been to Sana Post, please do for the latest breaking news on our film industry. The second thing is, those are the hardest questions that have ever been asked as we watch Kenyan. So from today, we are starting a platinum card, and you're member number 1. You'll always be welcome to come to We Watch Kenyan because this is what it's about. This is what it's about. We'll go to your question, but I have a question related to your question. But let's start with yours first.
Well, clearly, mine is not really a question per se, but just to bounce back on what you guys have explained. Number one, Luca, thank you for explaining. Now I think I understand. You deserved it. Your character deserved what you got. You are a flawed character, which is nice. After the explanation, now the character even becomes more fleshed out. And now I understand why you had to pay the price. Because you're a flawed character. That was beautiful. The green for me, I think when I saw it, I watched Harry Potter a lot. I used to. And the color for those bad guys was Slytherin, and their color was green. So Slither for snake, I thought these characters were just snaky around. They were backbiters. They changed on his character. So we read too much into things. But yeah, that is just what I need to say. And thank you so much, Mike, for what you're doing. Bless you.
My question related to Peter's question, because he actually made me think, and it's not a criticism. I can also see what he was seeing, but I'm just wondering, and maybe this is an industry-wide question. Do we, I'll include myself in the we, as script writers, share our scripts out a little bit wider to get some input from people in the industry? Because they have someone like Peter, for example, who's had to act scripts and then also produce scripts, would have a different perspective. And it's like an outsider looking in. And I don't know, I'm new in the film industry, so I don't know what happens in more established industries like Hollywood, of whether they do that. Do they take it wider than their circle, just a even potential audience to try and to test the script before you go into production? Yeah, and that also means that, because the idea of, you got me thinking about the money. Do I take it, because that could have been shot in that scene, and then you'd have it, and then you can decide and edit whether you're going to use it or not. Yeah, so it could have, could have broadened the story a little bit just in case you needed it, sort of thing. So I'm wondering if that happens in our industry, or maybe should it happen, or can it happen in our industry as we grow, because our industry is growing.
That's a really good question. And it's a question which we talked with Andrew before, just when we were writing the story. It's always good to share your story with people, but always remember, when you come up with an idea or a story, it's your, how do I say, it's your reality. If it's something you've gone through or it's an idea, it first starts with you. The moment you start like, I share with this one, I share with this one, it becomes a collective input. As much as, the village makes, a person and everything, sometimes you have to maintain, be like, this is my baby. Be very jealous about it to some way. That one makes you have some uniqueness in your story. Because with scripting, you find uh, even the best writers copy and steal. As artists, we steal, we copy. You find when you think of even borrow, yeah. When you sit down, when you sit down and think of a story, you think, this is the best idea ever. You find when you tell it to someone, someone has either experienced that, they've seen it somewhere, but there's a signature. Most of the stories we have, they follow this story arc of introduction, boy meets girl, girl meets boy, they break up, at the end, happy ending. Now you want to mix that a bit. What do? Boy meets girl, they have the pull and push. Flip the story on the belly. Like, hey, do something different. I grew up watching a couple of telenovelas like, The Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Sunset Beach. I know it tells my age, but yeah. You'd find like, Paloma, the Storm over Paradise. Like you watch those things, unapata story ilisha, but you're just captivated to continue watching, elongated it. So for me now coming to that story of just giving my story someone to read, it's really good, but I would rather keep it in a small circle so that it's not contaminated a lot. The other thing, a Kenyan crowd is very hard to please. If you ask like comedians who do fast stand-up comedy, they're the most difficult people to please. We'll go watch Game of Thrones, we'll watch Spider-Man. Mtu akishoot hapa Game of Thrones yetu, believe you me. Yeah, so it goes to tell a lot, I guess. So first you create for you, like be authentic. Well, what's an African story to you? Define that story to yourself. Write it out, see it, touch it, believe in it, and then now be inclusive. Be like, okay, unaonaje story. So that's how me and Andrew approach storytelling. So that even, for example, if you open a WhatsApp group right now, you say, tumeshikana tutafanya production. Believe in me, mtafanya production. Because there are some people who come into the mix, mnapata, kuna wale watu wanatumanga tu mnasimama kabla mwanze. So start with you first. Remove all the obstacles. You hear we started with a safe, and then we ended up with a vault. You ni ile amenia, we can do this. So I think, yeah, awesome.
How many students are in the room? Can you film students? Yeah, loud and proud. There's only 2. Thank you for coming. University of Nairobi, right? Yeah, thank you for coming. There you go. Your hand was first. Remember to say your name, where you're from, what you do.
My name is Dadson Gakenga, and seeing as my primary practice is acting, let me start with commending the acting first, yes. And beyond the performance, really, especially now in this sitting, that question that Peter Kawa just asked, yeah, I feel like you guys you got lucky with Lucarelli's answer, and I'm not saying you didn't have your own answers. I'm not saying you didn't have your own explanation as to it, but I just want to comment how I think that is part of good casting, because the reasons he gave for that money, he clearly had thought about it even more, and it brings into play something that I've always said, that I think the creating ends with the actor. So whether or not, and Mike has talked about the importance of like sharing the script with many people, and so that, or some people sometimes so that you can get input. But sometimes even when you didn't have as much input at that level, and come to the directing, you will have more input from the director. And then it is even more brilliant that it does not end there, that the actor had their own input and they had to find their own motivation after reading the script of having to still go and steal after they they say the bag with the money. So that's really cool. I think that's an actor who's really doing their assignment. Yeah. And I also want to commend that you didn't have. I agree with you when everyone says the movie, they feel like the movie would have been more. Yeah, like it would have been longer. And I commend that you didn't feel the need to make it longer, because as much as I am part of the people who felt like, oh my God, why did it just end? I would rather feel that than feel like a story is being stretched, which is the scenario very many times in Kenyan films. A lot of times. The only other time that I've not felt like a story is stretched, I have felt people put a lot of details in the story, and then towards the end, they kind of close all the tabs they opened up. So there's that as well, and I didn't feel any of the two in this film, and that's a good thing. It's a story that was very well weaved from beginning to end. The dialogue, brilliant. The only questions I would have, perhaps, the first one I had has already kind of been answered. It was kind of dumb, but I just wondered when I started watching the film, I was like, why would such a good film have such a blunt, plain, and straightforward title? Thief? I mean, why? Why did you try to be a bit more creative with the title? but now, but now that you explained the paradox behind it, that the thief was not actually the thief, I think it passes. Yes. Now the question that I would like, I think, good insight on, because I am not as, like I said, I'm primarily an actor, so my technical side is not as good. Beyond the color that was the color palette that was chosen in terms of set and costume and everything, there's the picture, the color of the picture, yeah, like what is done in, I don't know, color grading perhaps, or color, and sometimes I think lighting also adds a lot into the color of the picture. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not technical. My question would be, what relation is there in deciding the color of the picture from? Because I feel like the color of the picture a lot with certain genres always have a certain color, yeah, certain feel in the cinematic me of it. So usually, what is the relation? Like, what makes you decide off of the genre or off of reading the script? What gives you, what makes you decide how the color of the picture will look off of, off of reading the script or something, or off of the genre? What is it that relates this to? Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for your comments. Really amazing, especially the one about Luca and his acting. So what me and Greg decided once we cast the whole script was that, these actors are professionals. Me and Greg can't act to save our lives. As in, these guys do it like every day. So our mission was to make sure that we capture them in the best way possible and at least discuss the story. And, the good thing about film is that everyone is going to interpret the story in a different way, which makes it so awesome. Somebody's going to feel different and whatever. So I really like that observation that you made about, they did their thing. They're amazing. So, yeah. So in terms of the color and the look, this is something which we sit down together. Even before we write the story, we reference movies that are in line with what we want to do. So we take still images, like we like this palette, we like how this light looks, we like the shadow, and the story was, most of the movie, it's like shot in the dark. It's during the night, right? So we knew that it's going to be dark. He's a thief. He can't like rob in this light, So one thing that we knew that we are going to do was have a lot of night shoots and really, really dark scenes. And we actually looked for reference images, and that's where the cinematographer comes in.
Yeah. As I said, when you go into production, whenever you're writing a script, you always have something called your color palette. So there are colors which do respond on a color wheel. If you go look at something like a color wheel, you have, even if you watch like music videos, you find if they put color red, they'll put color blue on the other side. So red and blue. It's like they match. Vile nimevaa hii ni color palette tayari. Like, yeah. Yeah. So you always want to have a color palette so that you don't have so much like confusion. Because if you have like, if we had look really in let's say a lot of colors, it would be confusing because your eye doesn't know where to go. So you do two things. Either you'd put your cast in color or you'd put your set in color. That's how, like for me, when I look at a frame, they say every frame is a painting. So you always want to accent some colors and tone down some colors. So for me, like if every time you see him on frame, he had some toned down colors, and then the room would complement them. So if the vault had so many reds and golds and blues, you find Saneville had greens. He was in a green hoodie and a blue jacket and timber boots and stuff. So you always want to like bounce off your colors. And we have sometimes, even when we do music videos, you'd find we'd go for monotones, or so we'd do lighting. Let's say you'd have your teal and orange, which is blue and tungsten almost. So for us, for the night scenes, we had white light, which is the moon. It's always ninila as blue. So it was blue. And then for dark complexion actors over the years, I've come to see like tungsten light works better on darker skin. So if you watch like series like Blackish or Euphoria, whatever, like you see how they're lit, it's very beautiful. Or if you go also to period pieces, candlelight, whenever they're mimicking candlelight, it looks so nice. Even when you have dark colors, like slave movies, 12 Years of Slave, you see the lighting, it's beautiful. When you go to the western side, this is just from research, states, whenever they convey Africa or they convey Mexico or India, it's graded in yellow, orange, sweatiness, desert. That's how they convey, like, like where we are based. If you watch those movies very well, you come to see, from Extraction to The Monkey Moon, any Indian movie you watch, you'll see, or Mexico, Narcos or Nini, you'll see the color tone changes. Yeah? Yes, you may. So it's about color and choice.
Yeah, and another thing which also guided even me writing the script is that Greg wanted the movie to be dark at the beginning and ends on a brighter note. Hence, all the scenes in the beginning are nighttime until Madame Donna walks out of the house. It's bright. The sun is out. She's full of life and everything. So everything is dark until that moment. Even at the hospital, when Oliver's wife is being told that the son is going to be okay, that's a bright moment and stuff. So we really wanted for the audience to feel that journey like really, really dark, and then things become, yeah. So that's kudos to Greg and his crazy mind. Yeah.
All right, but you can tell these guys have done research with whatever from those answers. Indio, like it feels so researched. They know their craft. They know what they're doing. Literally, from Kiwo's answer, you can tell. I didn't know red and blue go together. I'll probably go look for an outfit and first try. Then I will know. Okay, Kiwo was right. Yeah. Okay. Next question. I think we'll take. I think just 3 more questions, and then we'll close up.
And before we go there, did Oliver really die? Did we see a coffin? And even then, did we look inside the coffin? Yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is David. A digital artist, mainly working in post-production. And I would love to commend the directors, the writer, and the actor for the good job. this is really, really well done. First, the first thing I would commend is how you sweat the small stuff for everything that we've been talking about, colors and from Andrew. I really love the sound. It wasn't so overdone. You know, sometimes you watch movies and it's the sound just screams. Yeah, it calls attention to itself. This was really, really done, and I could really, really tell that these people have really they're masters of their craft. One of my favorite scenes is when the thief is walking up the stairs, like, and then if he flashes the torch, you could tell there's a sound effect for that. I'm like, wow, these guys, they're really, really good. Yeah. The question I have is getting the idea before the script. How did this idea come? Was it something inspired by a real life story? How did it come about?
I have another mic. As you answer the question, sorry, who did the sound design? Who did the sound design?
Okay. So who did the sound design and what was the inspiration of the story?
Oh, the sound design.
Yes.
So,
Interesting story.
yeah, yes. So, it all goes down to the script, because if I share the script with you, like most of the things that you see, it's actually described in the script itself. Like when Luca turns the dial, we hear the clock in the ticking clock in the background. So we had to make sure that we had a clock on set.
Yeah.
So everything goes down to the script, because the script is a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
It's allows every department to know what needs to be done in terms of costume. Greg. The script in the beginning describes, a different car, like Alexa's coming in, like Donna arrives in Alexa's, but Greg is like, no, G-Wagon. We're like, okay, we changed the script. It's like a G-Wagon. So,
Mlitoa wapi G-Wagon?
yes, tulipata tu somewhere. So,
Pitakawa ilikuwa yako.
yeah. So also, in terms of sound, it's really descriptive in the script. And thank God for our sound location recordist called Ali. He's really good with sound, really knows how to record sound. Like, it's really, really clean.
Yeah.
And, on set, we'll be like, yo, I'm going to need that sound for the edit. I'm going to need that one. So he just records it, makes sure that we get what we want.
Okay.
Yeah, so that during post-production, it becomes easy. But we had to download a lot of ambient sounds, Foley sounds, the vault sounds and everything.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot, because we edited this movie for like 3-4 months, right?
What?
Oh yeah, okay.
That was you.
But now the good thing is that I helped. I co-directed with Greg, so it becomes easy editing it.
Yeah.
Because I know the best performances that I'd want for the edit.
Yes.
But then Kiwo comes in as well, looks at the edit, and we're like, probably we can do this, then that. So it's a really collaborative process. But everything in terms of sound design, it's all calculated. We think about it before, and we just tweak a little things as we edit. But I can say that the sound is the thing which took a lot of time to do.
Just to add on that is whenever we were like just the discussions, because you always want to make a movie that people who have sight can see, but at the same time, if you close your eyes, you can actually like hear, the feet, the Foley's. Because in film, also the other thing, you have like 3 notes of sound. You have the dialogue, you have the Foley, and then you have the environment and the things which are added. So always also when you're just, doing your edit and layering, you have your dialogue already on set. That's taken care of. But now our note to our sound guy was, we want the locks, the Mlango, we want to hear him breathe. So if you ask them, we did a couple of ADRs on the side, on the set. So because we wanted those ones, like when they're taking picture of the phone.
ADR ni nini for sisi wenye
Or
hatufanye
added,
sound?
added dialogue. It's just added
Okay.
in post, yeah.
Okay.
So that's on the sound bit, because you think of everything.
Okay.
The last question was on the
The
idea,
inspiration of
the
the
inspiration
story.
of the story.
Yes.
So for me, I always say I'm a cocktail of stories over the years. And whenever I imagine or think of a story which is straightforward, let's say a woman who's come from Ocha, amekuja, ameteswa, amekuwa maid. Kawaida story. Anyone can relate to that story. If you watch Niger, you'll see like your structure. But as I always said, you want to flip your story on the belly, because you think, how do I make this more interesting? And for me, I think I'm in tune with the way I just come up with ideas, in that I always want things that stand out in a way,
Yeah.
like a sore thumb, and things which are not your kawaida approach of stories. Even the other stories that we do have,
Yeah.
like you build worlds, you block them, and then it's also by the things you watch. For me, like my favorites in terms of the films I've watched, some of them are very basic, some of them are very straightforward, but they never have an ending. Some of them, like after it ends, you're like, yo, what was that? You have to watch a second time. If you watch something like the other day we talked about Perfumer. Who's watched Perfumer? Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. You watch that film? It's crazy. Yeah, you watch Les Miserables. I don't know. It's French. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're singing. It's like if I was to do something where actors are singing, I would reference that movie, because those guys can sing and they're performing at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's how I go about, And then when I share now with Andrew, we go back and forth, and he brings that. Now he has to bring us back to earth. He's like, okay, this won't fly. So that's how just we create and come up with ideas and stories. So I hope I've answered your question. Yes. Oh,
You mentioned that you have a notebook where you write stories. I guess, okay, maybe what I wanted to hear is one day I was, watching the news and this story came up and I'm like, oh, this could be, yeah, like that kind of, but I like your process and your thought of coming up with ideas and standing out. I think it's something really good to learn from.
I guess sometimes I guess also when you go through life, whatever you experience, just growing up, maybe in your family, religious, be it political, those things do affect your storytelling in a way, because they get you thinking. For me, I never delve into politics as such, and things matters with religion and stuff like that, because it's always a tug of war, which is right, which is wrong. Same with a movie, you'll see that theme of morality playing out. By the end, I leave it to you, because as a viewer, you're like, oh, Oliver was a thief, so he whatever he got at the end he was supposed to get that. But then also you look at the rich woman, you're like, was it right? Did she get away with it? So those things do affect your storytelling, and I think it's a good thing to always, when you write those ideas, you never know, how big you can grow them, and what they might end up. It might be your next, paycheck.
We have another question here.
Okay.
What I want to say about the script is I felt it was very refreshing, and also the genre that you're in. The genre that you're in, you're kind of in your own lane. Yeah.
No competition.
Yeah. So yeah, keep going, guys. Keep going. I think you're onto something. Thank you.
Okay. So hi guys. Joyce Ayeko from the University of Nairobi doing film production. So I'm going to start with 2 easy questions, then 2 complex ones. So the first one is just something that I noticed while watching, was the son poisoned by Madame Helen? I'll call her by her real name. Sure, he was poisoned. Okay.
Hey, you're smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Yes, agreed.
Yes. So again, research. In terms of research, did you at all research about what goes into like breaking into houses? You know how they do those Western movies, and you can see every single detail. How did they pick the lock? How did they? Or did you just decide you want it to be vague? Because yeah.
We did do some research. Even Luca will talk about it, about what he had to do so that he can
And talk
play
about
that role.
stethoscope thing I see them putting on the safe to listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Luca, do you want us to answer it now, or you want to finish?
Yeah. First of all, now I've definitely forgotten everything I did. But as I said, I do my work and then leave it at that. But I think when I got the script, I definitely had to check the kind of locks they're talking about, especially when they came to the 3-4 combination lock. I really had to check what that was. I didn't even know what that was. But then again, you have all these things prepared. You go to YouTube, you check your Wikipedia and all, and then you come to set and you have to throw all that away again. Because it becomes, as they tell you, the set becomes a whole huge room. And you're thinking in your head, is this really a 3-4 combination lock? You know what I mean? And so you have to just play it with the set that you're given, or everything that you've already learned and everything, and you just bring it to set and you do your job. So I have to say, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but it's just best to just prepare yourself, just research what it is. I didn't know what a 3 or a 4 combination lock is, but you just have to, you figure it out, you Google is there, you learn all these things, you go to YouTube. I definitely had to go check how people open up locks and all. Yes, it may not help because, of course, we're just acting. But the thing is, it gives you at least that you feel like a thief because you have this little information about locks and all. So yeah.
And the other thing is, just when you write, it's really good to borrow. Like that stethoscope thing would have been nice, like him being at the door, putting it and stuff. But sometimes you find you also clutter your story while trying to, copy and stuff. Sometimes you make the actor's hands too full because he had a torch, he has, Nini. So you'd want to make it sometimes very simple, especially when you have those, jump scares or surprises. You're in, you're out. You tell your story, you're in, you're out, yeah. On a budget.
So for the other question, I'm very keen on continuity. And one thing I noticed is there was a point when he was coming into the house, they made a very big deal about him wearing his mask and his gloves. Then nikafika ndani, I think I blinked and there were no gloves on his hands. So my question is, I understand the importance of there not being any gloves because that's how he was poisoned. But how did you make that decision of him not having gloves, especially considering he's such a big thief that they've given him a name on newspapers, like the silent thief. So he has to know that when the police come, this is the first place they're going to look at, the safe. So how did you decide that these gloves are going off?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I like you. Yeah. Yeah. This is really amazing. So, in terms of structuring a story and stuff, you need to have those kind of like breadcrumbs or something that will get you to the end of the story, right? So, you've said that you missed him removing the gloves. Yeah, but he actually did. And that was intentional so that he can, grab the gun. But in terms of trying to rationalize why he removes his gloves once he gets to the safe, to the dials, it's that, this is something that he has missed doing, So he's getting that that high, like I am here, like I'm doing this. So at some point he kind of forgets about why he's doing this, about the sun, right? But it's all about turning that dial, and we hear the sound. So we had to elongate that scene kidogo, so that at least we give him his high before he gets poisoned and he's killed allegedly. So
That's in the direction of the script. Like, get on the safe door, remove your gloves.
remove your gloves. Yeah. So we actually had to make sure that before he gets into the house, he wears the gloves, takes his time, and then he gets in, removes his gloves, touches, and then Donna comes in, and she's wearing gloves as she's holding the gun, right? So yeah, we had those. If you watch the movie like 2-3 times, you'll see Easter eggs. You'll start seeing like 2 little breadcrumbs that we leave throughout the movie. So
And then they say when you write a script, you put a gun in the script, it has to go off. So yeah, they call it what? For foreshadowing, and they call it Chekhov's theory of the gun going off. When you get into script writing, there are these things which are really layered. So whenever you put something in the script for the actor to enable him do something, we always have to, like, in a way, it has to serve its purpose. So him, when he's going to rob, putting on his gloves, it was like, look at this moment for the viewers and for you when you're seeing the film. Him getting them off is more like, we're taking them off again. And then now when Donna comes, it's like, the moment you touch that gun, she didn't like fall, she did it intentionally to drop the gun. So when he picked it up, it's more of also, again, the gun has to go off. So in the purpose of telling the story and everything, you have to think about these things and question. Sometimes you leave it out there for people to figure it out. But yeah, you never leave, you leave loose ends that do serve the story. That's the thing you do. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
For the last question, Madam Helen, was she an old lady or was she sick? And if she was an old lady, what made you go for her specifically, and not an old lady that's already old that can act as good, and you had to go through all this problem with like makeup and all? And if she was old and not sick, why did you choose those shoes she was wearing? Because she was wearing high heels. So I'm like, why did you choose those shoes? And the pictures on the wall were of her as a young lady. And there were so many. It was almost like in every frame, you wanted us to know that this lady was beautiful at one point. They also did show that she's a narcissist, someone that really loves seeing herself, and explains why she goes to all this effort to like get the surgery done on him and on her. But what other purpose did they serve? Why did we have to look at them all that time? Because they almost gave a sense of she was sick instead of like being old, because there was that resemblance right over there. And there's something that I'm forgetting. Her hands were not, hakukuwa makeup on her hands, so they were not that old. So was she old or sick?
Please start with how many hours of makeup it took to just get Kelly to become Madame Donna. Shout out to the makeup. Yo. Yeah, let's start there. That's a really hard question.
Yeah, the makeup team did an amazing job. I remember the last day of production, we had to get. Okay, let me just run it back, kidogo. So the second day of production, we shot for a lot of hours. People were getting tired, and we decided to, like wrap the set for that day. That was like 6 in the morning, and me and Greg were still going like, what's the next shot? And then the guys were like, yo, it's 6 in the morning. And we were like, oh shit, it's 6 in the morning. Yeah, we were like, let's break. We'll meet 2 days later. So before now the last day of shoot, me and Greg were just at the computer looking at the footage of that second day of shoot. And then we were like, yo, Greg, I think we might have to tell these guys we need to reshoot these scenes. and like we just didn't know how we are going to even start that conversation with the actors. Um, um, yeah. So, but these guys are like sports. I can't say it enough. I mean, these guys were like, yo, I mean, if you guys want us to reshoot these things, let's reshoot it. I mean, everybody just wanted to wrap the shoot with the best material possible, which was really amazing. I mean, that's not something that you get like on normal sets. Like these people were like, they were like, yo, let's shoot this again. So that last day, since we are going to reshoot, we had to tell Helen Kelly that, yo, you need to be on set 4 a.m. in the morning because the makeup is going to take like 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So at least she'll be ready to shoot at 10 in the morning. At least that's a good enough time. Okay, for us guys who like show up on set at 9, but for her, she had to sit through all those 6 hours of makeup. But now to answer your question about us having all the photos of her being young and whatever, we wanted to leave it open-ended. Like we don't really know whether she's sick or she's old. Yeah, so the makeup, we wanted it to be like in between both for the audience to interpret it however they're going to interpret it as. So yeah, we still don't know what she is. She might be a vampire. I don't know. You know, someone who, you know, as in she can be anything that you can imagine. And that's the beauty about short films. The way Greg says, we are in and out, as in whatever you think about it, that's what it is, you know? Yeah. In and out.
Intimacy for me. That's what I was looking at. Was something I have lost or something I had to give up? But here again, I've been given a chance to do what puts me at peace. And one best thing was that I'm good at locks. I'm in and I'm out. No one knows who I am. So I've been given this moment again to relive this experience. And so with that, as you can see, when I come to the vault, I give it time because it reminds me of the good times I had when I was doing this. And so that's why I removed the gloves. But also another thing is that as a thief, I always keep my watch. If you see the thing, I still have my watch as I get in, which I shouldn't. But it's only because, again, one, I'm desperate, and two, not only desperate, I'm addicted to this thing. And this is a moment I've been given. So I'm not really thinking with I'm not thinking with logic here as a thief, really, but I'm thinking one as a desperate man, and two as a moment of intimacy, something that I haven't had for a very long time. And so I miss out a few things, a few details, like I still keep my watch on. I reach there and I remove my gloves because I really just want to feel this at least one last time. And yeah. So as you can see, I'm not doing it as a career anymore. I'm literally just here for that one experience. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Valerie. I'm glad I met Greg again. Yes, I know him as a light designer, but not a director. I'm shocked. But the choice of the short film is so good. If you look at Kenyan movies, they are not there. Yes, I wish it was a movie, not a short film. Yes, and now this goes to I don't know, the producer or the director. Okay, what's your future with this film? Amjafikisha audience kwenye walitaka kufika. And now that you've had criticism about the film, what's your next step? Yes.
Personally, like towards the thief as a film. Yeah. As I said, again, when you're going to, whenever you write or you want to create, for us, I and Andrew, we are very purposeful. And sometimes we have tunnel vision whenever we go into a project. We touch it when it's hot. And then when we're done with it being hot, we put it down and then we breathe. We look at, now the response, criticism has been coming through since the premiere and everything. Good and bad, but as creatives or as a creative, you experience this, you always get feedback. And feedback is very important because it depends now how you take it, but never take it personal. Because some feedback is to build you, some feedback is to motivate you, some feedback is to make you think a bit more. For us, if there's a future for it in terms of continuation of the story, if we'd want, we'd build it out a bit more. But the other thing is that we are on a high, me and Andrew. The high is we're excited about the other stories we do have and which need our money, our input. Now that goes back to self-sponsorship. It's really difficult when you're funding your own projects because you want to treat people well, you want to feed people, you want to pay people. At the end of the day, you want to create. And that's where we're coming from also. Like we want to always create and create good stories. The thing that does save me and Andrew is because we are like ambidextrous, we are multi-talented. So for him, he can shoot, he can edit, he can direct, he can script. For me, I can light, I can direct, I can shoot. Again, like properly, those are things we can do properly. And those now goes back to the investment we've made. For me, when, coming into the project, Andrew has brought his talent, his skills. The actors have brought their talent, their skills. At the same time, you need now machines which oil the whole engine per se. So for him, he owns camera gear. He has lenses, he has cameras. That's less of a budget for us. For me, I've invested in lighting gear. That's less budget for us. And then now going back now to how we're going to do these stories and churn out more stories, it just goes back again to doing a project, you finish it on a high or however you define that and go into the next project, which might be either finishing this one and seeing more future to that. But this one, now finishing it, we'd want money, money now from the other people because it would take a bit more from the SFX, the time, building the sets and everything. So again, we were in, we are out.
Thank you.
So the
Sisi
money
ni
is for
interns.
our story.
Tunataka
Yeah.
kazi.
Kazi
Nimejiongelelea.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that question. So I was to ask that question.
Yeah.
And also, if you're looking for interns, maybe they'd want to join. That's another question.
We had interns on our set, by the way.
Okay.
If
If they
you look
want
at the
to join,
credits,
how do they go about it?
Now, for us, since we are filmmakers
Mm-hmm.
and we don't shoot like on a daily basis, like a series.
Yeah.
If you have a series set, you're guaranteed work maybe January to December.
Yes.
But if you're doing a film, the way you've had this one, we started last year.
Yes.
In Feb, January, writing the story, planning, Reiki, shooting.
Mm.
It takes a bit longer time to come out with the final project.
Yes.
So you find maybe like the idea before was to do a film every month. Yes?
A film every month.
Yeah, that was the idea between me and Andrew. Yeah,
Okay.
last year we were supposed to do 3 films. We did only 2, which is Collector and Now Thief. This year we said we'll be doing a film every month. We have a movie out. But again, it goes back to now I have to work. He has to work. We have to go make that money so that we
Yes.
can put it back in our film. So you find if now you're waiting for us to take you as an intern, we'll have you at a certain point, which is good. But again, you always want to be doing something. So this again is just like an advice I'm throwing out there. Don't wait for people to come and help you in a way or come and open the door for you.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you find you write a story, sit on it, A month later, unaona story ka yako. Unasema, nilikuwa na story ka hiyo. Because it's not only you who has thought of that idea, that story.
Yeah.
Once you put out things in writing and in words,
Yeah.
the universe has a way of doing things. It's very interesting. I don't know how it does it, but it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Just a short example and a story. Before Njoro Uba, I had Njoro Uba, but it wasn't Njoro Uba. Same actor, kabisa, because I was working with him. I'd done a series called Scavengers with what's his name, the guy from Njoro Uba, Joe Kinyo. If you ask him, me and him, buddies. I was doing projects with him.
Yeah.
Scavengers, Kawa was the main actor throughout for Scavengers. It's on YouTube. So I wanted a story of an Uber driver who goes through things. The guy who wrote the script, his name is Mwadulo. The script, we wrote it back in 2017, 2018. Njoro Uba was produced in the 2000s. So I lost out on that. And I had gone and pitched. I'd gone to Mnet. I have this exciting story in Nini. I missed out on it. That's how I came to learn, like, when you have an idea, when you have something,
just do it.
And the beautiful thing is, phones these days are very powerful medium. And we have short form for TikTok, YouTube, for those guys who are in, on social media and stuff. You find people are doing amazing things with just phones. Sometimes when you think about the gear, the people, it makes you become somehow paralyzed. And that's what happens, even to the best of us as creatives.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we write a story, we see hurdles, we see the difficulty of doing it.
Yeah.
So I'll say, begin with your phone, begin with your friends. Begin with that kidogo money, just shooting normal things. You never know who's watching.